All right, things are getting pretty serious. We are into the round of 8 of the NASCAR Xfinity Series Playoffs. That means some Final Four positions are on the line as soon as this weekend. In this video, I'm going to review the round of 12 and then preview the round of 8, talk about the success for these drivers at the track inside the round of 8, and then talk about who I think is making the Final Four and who's getting eliminated. We will start with Harrison Burton, minus 41 to the cut line here. Look, it was huge for those guys to make the playoffs. Solid 7th place run at Bristol kept him in the conversation here, leaving Kansas. Unfortunately, had some issues with the fuel pump at the Roval. Finished down in 34th, didn't have a chance to, flip the stages, get stage points or anything like that. A tough way to go out for the 25 car, nonetheless, a huge season for AM Racing and the 25 team. Next, 21 points out, Austin Hill in the 21 car, losing 21 playoff points, plus 6 points that he would have earned for where he finished in the regular season. Missing out on the round of 8. This one is pretty big, honestly. Struggled at Bristol, 19th place, a strong 3rd place run at Kansas. Lost a cylinder at the Roval, was under power. Say what you want about the guy and some of his antics on the track. He puts up good results and he delivers in this 21 car. He's always running up front. This is pretty big for some of these guys to get him eliminated, especially with Talladega in this round. Huge that 21 car is out of the picture for some of the JRM and other guys fighting for the Final Four. Really impressed with this one here. Only 9 points out. Nick Sanchez, one of the rookies. 13th at Bristol, 8th at Kansas, 9th at the Roval. Put up really good results at all 3 races in this round. Looked really competitive. He's already been announced to be back in this car for 2026. I could see them going another round next year. 48. Sanchez really clicking here as the season went on. Again, I thought they were one of the teams. The goal was just to make the playoffs. They did that. Everything on top of that was a cherry. Unfortunate they didn't make it, but I think a lot to be proud of if you're that 48 group here. And one of our other rookies here missing out by just 1 point, Taylor Gray in the 54 car. Only one top 10 that came at Kansas. 14th at Bristol, 13th at the Roval, so inside the top 15 in all 3 races. Really close. This one's definitely going to sting for the 54 car. Just thinking, one position in a stage in the race, any of those 3 races would have changed something for them. Nonetheless, a very strong rookie season from that 54. Not in victory lane yet. They are pretty close, though. I totally see them winning a race or 2 next season. All right, to the drivers who advanced into the round of 8, we'll start with Sammy Smith. A brutal start here, a 37th place run at Bristol. Followed it up with back-to-back top 5s. I had him written off after Bristol. Really impressive turnaround for Sammy Smith and the A team. Totally builds their confidence, I think, going into this round of 8. So huge for those guys to deliver back-to-back good results when they were up against it. Just narrowly making their way in by 1 point. 2 points ahead of him, his rookie teammate Carson Kvapil, a top 5 at Bristol to start this off, and then back-to-back 15th place finishes, so Kvapil doing what he had to do, keeping it clean, not wrecking out. He advances into the round of 8. Again, as a rookie, that's really all you can ask for, getting through the first round in the playoffs. This is going to be good experience for him, even if he doesn't advance. It's been reported that Kvapil will not be full-time next year at Junior Motorsports, just running in a part-time effort. That's really disappointing to hear. He's already in the round of 8 this season. You think he can build off of this, win a race or 2. He could be a threat for the Final Four next year, so hopefully they're able to put together a deal with another race team for him to run the races where he's missing at JRM. Definitely deserves another crack at a full-time run. 7 points to the good Sheldon Creed. Started off with back-to-back top 5s. Another runner-up for this guy. Another 2nd place at Bristol. 5th at Kansas, and then just 1 spot outside of the top 10 at the Charlotte Roval. So, again, pretty consistent for the 00 car. Been hanging around that 5th to 10th place all season, so no surprises there. He has the experience, a couple playoff runs in the Xfinity Series already, so looking at the 00 to make a push to Phoenix here. And then plus 9, Jesse Love. Started off with a 25th place at Bristol, 7th place at Kansas, and then 12th place at the Roval. So, didn't break the top 5 anywhere, but still made it in by 9 points. Only the 1 top 10, definitely something that they're going to need to work on if they're going to want to advance here, but nonetheless, Jesse Love making it into the round of 8 for the 2nd season in a row here. To our top 4 here, we got a little bit of a points jump, plus 17, Brandon Jones. 11th at Bristol, of course, that pretty dominant win at Kansas. I know he kind of took it from Allgaier late, but he finished 2nd in both of the stages in that race. And then an 18th place at the Roval, didn't need to do anything there, he was already locked in. We'll talk about it. Las Vegas, pretty similar to Kansas, right? This 20 car could be a sleeper to winning his way into Phoenix. Plus 26 for Sam Mayer, a 3rd place run at Bristol, then outside the top 15 at both Kansas and the Roval, so nonetheless he was plus 26, so wasn't really worried about it. Sam Mayer been strong all year long here. A huge jump to plus 65 for Justin Allgaier. 2 top 10s, a 6th at Bristol and 8th at the Roval. Split in the middle by a 13th place run at Kansas. Was dominating that race, went on that alternate strategy, taking a gamble at it. I understood the gamble, but didn't quite pay off. The 7-car been fast all 3 races in the round of 12. And then at the top, the only driver to hit the 2200 mark, Connor Zilisch, plus 117, 5th at Bristol, 2nd at Kansas, and then winning at the Roval. Broke the record for most consecutive top 5s, and he keeps going here. 88 car looking pretty unstoppable at this point in the season. Going to be a lot of fun to watch him here in the round of 8. So let's break down those points a little bit more and look at stage points earned inside the round of 12. 88 car not at the top in this category. Justin Allgaier scoring 2 more stage points than Zilisch. Zilisch the only driver to score points in every single stage, but Allgaier with 3 stage wins to Zilich's 2, beats him 46-44. Sam Mayer only 5 off the lead, 3 behind Zilisch. 41 car earning a lot of stage points all 3 races, so that 41 car been really, really fast. Didn't quite have the finishes they would have wanted, but they were running up front for most of the day. Jesse Love, the only other stage winner, he was in 4th, earned 19 out of 20 possible points at the Roval, a little bit at both Kansas and Bristol. JRM teammate Sammy Smith and Carson Kvapil pretty even here, 24-21. Jones scoring 18 points, all 18 of those coming at Kansas. His teammate Taylor Gray just 1 point behind him at 17, scoring points in the first 4 stages of this, none at the Roval. They only missed out by 1 point. You got to wonder if maybe that was a misplay, not going for the stage points at Roval, instead setting themselves up for the finish. Just 11 stage points for Austin Hill. Again, we talked about it. He came in with that deficit for losing all the playoff points. He was not running up front a lot and getting a lot of stage points, so that can be a big indicator of why they missed out here. The 4 drivers not moving on there in the bottom 5 on this list, split by Sheldon Creed. He scored 11 stage points. All right, let's take a look at the point standings after the reset here. This is how they will look going into the round of 8. Zilisch up 57. Pretty big lead there for the 88 car. Pretty much gives them the mulligan if they need to use that at Talladega. Justin Allgaier plus 24, also pretty comfortable. But everyone else pretty close here. Jones plus 11. Mayer plus 8. Those are the 4 guys above the cut line. Jesse Love in the 2 car minus 2. Sammy Smith minus 7. Kvapil minus 11, and then Sheldon Creed minus 13. Those are the 4 guys on the outside looking in. We can see 3 of the 4 positions given to winners, so only 1 guy guaranteed to make it on points. So the points really important here if you're not able to get a win. Those guys already starting off on the back foot compared to a guy like Connor Zilisch at 30-71. One other thing I wanted to talk about before we got too deep into the round of 8 preview was the difference between the owners and the drivers playoffs. There are 2 cars that are different. If you don't know what the owners playoffs are, this is actually how the teams get paid out. They don't get paid out where they are in the driver standings. It goes based on the owners' points. So what are the differences? In the owner playoffs, the 21 RCR entry is in, and the 19 Joe Gibbs Racing entry is in, thanks to Eric Almirola winning at Bristol and locking themselves into the round of 8. They take the places of 2 JRM cars, the number 8 car and the number 1 car, that are both in the driver playoffs. The penalty to Austin Hill that took away his playoff points only took them away from the driver, not the team. That's why the 21 car is still in there. And then the 19 car won races earlier in the season with Almirola, and then again at Bristol. That's how they moved on. So Austin Hill still was something to race for here. The 21 car can still get paid if they make the final 4. Same goes for the 19 car. I am not sure what their schedule is. It's really hard to find any information about that online. If I was them, I would be running it back with Almirola these next 4 races. Honestly, they might even be able to win the Owners' Championship, which would be pretty cool. Almirola has looked wicked fast every time he's jumped into that 19 car, so that's probably their best bet. I don't know if they're giving it out to any other guys who are renting the ride or whatnot. We'll have to see what happens in these next few weeks. Should make things very interesting, though, knowing that there are a couple different agendas going on between the owners and the drivers' playoffs, especially for teams involved in both. All right, so the 3 tracks in the round of 8, we're starting with a 1.5 mile at Las Vegas, Super Speedway at Talladega, and then a short track, the Paperclip Martinsville. 3 different track types, 3 pretty classic NASCAR style tracks, Talladega, Martinsville. Been on the schedule forever, and then of course the 1.5 miles are a big part of the schedule as well. So going to be a really good indicator of who has had speed this season to get themselves through this round. We'll start things off at Las Vegas here. Justin Allgaier, the only playoff driver with a win in the field. Few guys in the top 5, Brandon Jones with a couple 3rd place finishes. Jesse Love with a 3rd, Sam Mayer with 2 5ths, Sheldon Creed, Sammy Smith, Connor Zilisch all getting inside the top 10, and then Carson Kvapil in 17th position. It should be mentioned both of the rookies only have 1 start here, so their numbers are a little bit fabricated by that. Justin Allgaier has raced here 22 times, Brandon Jones 17. With that said, a 6.9 average finish for Justin Allgaier across those 22 starts. He is wicked fast here, going to be a contender for the win right off the bat. A couple other guys inside of the top 10 here though. Jesse Love at 8.7. That is across 3 starts. And then Connor Zilisch with a 9.0, ninth, his only result here. Brandon Jones at 10.1. Again, a lot of races for Jones, so been finishing up front quite a bit here. Sam Mayer, a 14.4, the only other driver inside the top 15. But the other 3 guys all inside the top 20. Sheldon Creed, Carson Kvapil, and Sammy Smith. Despite that 9th place run though, Connor Zilisch earning 44 points here earlier in the year. He leads the points per race category a little bit ahead of Justin Allgaier, 42.1. Again, really solid for Allgaier in those starts here, every single race in the stage racing era. Same can be said for Brandon Jones, 34.7. Kvapil finished 17th in his one start here earlier this year, but earned a lot of stage points, 33 points earned there, that is right near Jesse Love, ahead of Sam Mayer, Sammy Smith, and Sheldon Creed. Moving on to Talladega, we have 2 winners in the playoff field here, first those being Jesse Love, who won here earlier this year, Sammy Smith winning this race last year in the playoffs. It was not in the round of 8 though. Brandon Jones with a couple of second place finishes. Sheldon Creed won second place, but he has 4 straight top 10s coming into this one. Sam Mayer, Justin Allgaier both also with runner-up finishes, so a lot of guys getting close to winning here. In 2 starts, Kvapil with a best finish of 17th, just 1 race for Connor Zilisch here. He finished down in 27th. To the average finish category now, Jesse Love, a 3.3 average finish across 3 starts here, so that 2-car been up front a lot at Talladega. Sheldon Creed, the only other guy inside the top 10 with a 9.5, then a pretty big fall off outside of the top 15. Justin Allgaier at 17.3. Brandon Jones, the only other guy inside the top 20, 19.4. Allgaier has 19 starts here, Brandon Jones 14, so a few wrecks have knocked this average finish down quite a bit. They do have good runs at this track as well. Sammy Smith, despite being a winner here, has a 21.5 average finish across 4 starts, so hasn't been finishing the other races here. Kvapil a 22.0 average finish, Sam Mayer 24.5, and then Connor Zilisch 27th in his one race here. A huge lead for the 2-car in this category. Points per race, 50.3 for Jesse Love, so finishing in the top 3 and getting top 3 stage points all day long. Sheldon Creed in second, the only other guy above 30, 33.8. Justin Allgaier, third in this category, pretty much has half of what Jesse Love has, 26.6. Brandon Jones and Sammy Smith, the only other guys above 20. Tie at 15 between the rookies, Carson Kvapil, Connor Zilisch, Sam Mayer with a 14.7 here. And last but not least, we move on to Martinsville. 2 winners in the field here as well. Justin Allgaier, Brandon Jones. Sheldon Creed with 3 second place finishes here. When is that guy going to win a race? Sammy Smith, 2 second place finishes. Sam Mayer with 1 second place. Kvapil has gotten in the top 5 with a 4th. Jesse Love with a top 10 and 9th. 1 start for Connor Zilisch here, 28th. Into the average finish category now, Justin Allgaier, Brandon Jones have both ran all 10 races at Martinsville in the Xfinity Series. Allgaier tied with Sammy Smith for the lead at 7.0, the only guys inside the top 10. Sheldon Creed with a 10.7. Carson Kvapil, 12.0. Sam Mayer, Brandon Jones, both inside the top 15. Jesse Love, 19.3. And then, of course, Connor Zilisch in his 1 start, 28th. To points per race, though, Sammy Smith, a perfect 40.0, the equivalent of winning the race without getting any stage points. Justin Allgaier, a 39.7. 5 straight top 10s for him here. Kvapil, 37.5. Sheldon Creed, the only other guy above 30, 31.4. Zilisch with 29 points here despite his 28th place finish. He swept the stages, led the most laps, just was not able to close the race out in the spring. Brandon Jones not far behind him, 28.4. Then Sam Mayer and Jesse Love, everyone above 20 here at Martinsville. The data not in favor of guys like Carson Kvapil and Connor Zilisch who have only ran 1 or 2 races at these tracks. Definitely got to remember that, especially for some of the other guys who have ran quite a few races. They also have wrecks there that knock everything down. This is just a generalization of performance. Alright, so who are the 4 drivers that I think are moving on to Phoenix? Well, I'll start pretty easy. Connor Zilisch in the 88 car. He's just been on such a tear this year. He hasn't finished outside of the top 5 since April back at Talladega. He missed the Texas race after that, but been months since this guy has been outside of the top 5. And he's got the points cushion in case he runs into trouble. He can pretty much take a mulligan at any of these 3 races if he needs. He's been fast in the 1.5 miles. He dominated at Martinsville earlier this year without getting the win. I think the 88 is a pretty clear lock to make it to Phoenix. Next up, I'm going to put Justin Allgaier in the 7 car, the defending champion. Been close to Zilic at times this season, has beaten him in a few races. I think Allgaier, he's got the experience, of course, winning it last year. I think he is poised to make Phoenix and go for a back-to-back title run. These next two are a little bit more fluid. I think the 88 and the 7 are pretty obvious picks. Third, I'm going to put Sam Mayer in the 41 car. Sam Mayer actually has more top 5s than Justin Allgaier this season, 13 to 12. Allgaier does have one more top 10. Those 13 top 5s are second in the series, of course, to Connor Zilic, but Sam Mayer has been right behind these two guys all year. He's been really fast. I know the numbers aren't his favorite at some of these tracks here, but I think Sam Mayer is going to put a Ford in the Final Four in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. All right, my fourth and final pick for Phoenix is going to be Jesse Love in the 2 car. He has the second most top 10s in the series this year, 19. That is just behind Connor Zilic at 20. He has been so good at Talladega. We saw the numbers there. I know the 21 car is in the owner playoffs. He's not in the driver playoffs, so maybe there's some help that's going to go that way to Jesse Love. We'll have to see what happens, but I think that 2 car has been really fast this year. If he can put together 3 races, including a strong one at Talladega, he should be in pretty good shape here. I also wanted to briefly talk about the 4 drivers I have getting eliminated and just kind of talking about my thoughts. So I'm going to put these into 2 different categories. The first 2 are guys who could knock out the 41 and the 2 car depending on how things play out. Sheldon Creed in the 00, Brandon Jones in the 20 car. Sheldon Creed was second place at both Martinsville and Talladega. He could break through and get a win, or he could just keep finishing second. Honestly, I am totally on the team of the winless champion. Sheldon Creed doing that would be pretty cool. And then Brandon Jones, like I talked about, Las Vegas with a lot of similarities to Kansas. He was really strong there. If he has a good day at Las Vegas and then, a lot of carnage happens at Talladega, he might be in a pretty prime position to go to a place like Martinsville, where he has won in the past, I should say. Jones is in a pretty decent position here to work his way into Phoenix. It'll be interesting to watch if that 20 car can pull it off. And then the other 2 guys I'm putting in the category, they're just happy to be here, right? Carson Kvapil in his rookie season, and then his teammate Sammy Smith. Back-to-back top 5s for Sammy Smith, though you never know how much momentum will help. Maybe that 8 car keeps firing off those top 5s and is in the position to move his way into Phoenix. Carson Kvapil, he is a short track guy. Maybe he shows everyone up at Martinsville and wins his way in. I think the thing that you can really say, though, is there could be an argument for any 8 of these guys to move their way into Phoenix, and that's something you really want. You want a competitive series where all 8 guys have a chance at those 4 positions. Who do you think's moving on? Who do you think gets eliminated? Do you think anyone even has a chance at beating that 88 car this season? Let me know down below. Thank you so much for watching.